We're in for a row now because we want to talk about the working week. Have you ever started your week exhausted? Yes. Well, maybe you feel the weekend just isn't long enough to recharge. Yes. It turns out you're not alone. Over 100 companies have permanently moved to 4-day weeks in a bid to improve work-life balance.
3-day weekends are, they say, the future. However, with just 1 in 3 jobs offering flexible working options, it seems many employers don't agree.
Well, joining us to defend the 4-day week is Joe Ryle, director of the 4-day week campaign. And we're also joined by Alex Proud, who is an entrepreneur and staunch supporter of the 5-day week. Good morning to you both. I'm hoping we've got both guests there. I only saw Alex Proud. Oh, hello. Yeah. Welcome to both of you. Look, may I start, Joe Ryle, with you? We've spoken to the 4-day week campaign before on this programme, and my question is, yes, it might improve work-life balance, but does it improve productivity? Because at the end of the day, we all know how the country is struggling at the moment to boost growth post-pandemic, and many would argue before we've seen the benefits of Brexit yet. Do we really need our workforce to be, taking off their shoes, feet on the desk, chilling out 1 day a week?
Well, numerous studies now, numerous pilot programmes have shown that 4-day working week with no loss of pay for workers is a win-win for both workers and employers. So productivity is going up on the one side, and then so is the well-being of workers. They're better rested, having a better work-life balance. And we've got to remember on productivity, and it's an acute problem for the UK. We work on the longest hours in the world, the longest in Europe except for Greece, while having one of the least productive economies at the same time. So all these long working hours we're putting in is making workers burn out, stressed, overworked, which of course isn't going to produce good results in the workplace. And so that's why we're seeing this increasing demand for a 4-day working week. It's a lot more popular than it was a few years ago. And the COVID pandemic has given us the opportunity to totally rethink the world of work.
So, Joe, as a grizzled cynic who's been around a long time, that's me, not you, I've seen this story pop up intermittently, and it's the stuff of socialist dreams, isn't it? I mean, you're a former advisor to John McDonnell. This is an anti-capitalist movement. Is it really going to work in the real world?
I don't think it is. I think this is about a work-life balance for everyone, and what's not to like about that? Working hours haven't really reduced in this country for decades. So if you think about all of the productivity gains since the 1980s, we're working smarter, there's more automation, new technology. All of that's making us more productive, but that's not being passed on to workers in terms of more leisure time, more free time. And mainstream economists like John Maynard Keynes have predicted by now we'll be working up to 15 hours a week, and that just hasn't happened. And so this is about, British workers being burnt out, stressed, not having enough time for family, for friends, for the other parts of life, and saying, things need to change. Just because we've been wedded to this model of work for 100 years, a very long time, it doesn't mean it's the right way of working. The world of work has transformed the last 100 years, but working hours haven't really changed to keep up with it.
Well, look, I want to bring Alex Proud in. He's chomping at the bit here in the studio with us. Look, it's all about work-life balance. Tell that to the people who can't see their GP, someone who wants a builder to do some work on their house, or indeed their children who go to school. They can't all suddenly start working 4 days a week, can they?
No, and I think, frankly, in a country that is in as much trouble as we're in right now, and it's interesting that we mentioned COVID, and COVID, isn't that the test bed? Oh, we can spend 300 billion and it's not going to screw us up. It did. That we can all work at home, send an email at 8:30, the proverbial jacket on the back of the chair, then go back to sleep for 3 hours and watch the TV and all the soaps. It's nonsense. It's make-believe land. It's interesting that Marta mentions productivity. The UK has been the laggard of productivity in the world for 20, 30 years. The US has consistently, year out, year in, and France, been 20% higher than us in productivity. They currently produce 20% more than we do per person. If we lose a day and a week in the UK, we are literally going to go bankrupt. It's a completely ludicrous proposal in make-believe land. I'm sorry.
It's interesting. Joe, the mention of France interests